что ж, вообще, вы знаете, Феррари уже сейчас набрала 156 очков в Кубке конструкторов, и это наивысшее достижение для итальянской команды за все время ее выступлений в чемпионате мира. А вы знаете, что выступает она с самого первого чемпионата 1950 года. И эта победа стала в этом сезоне уже 9-й для Скудерии, 8-й для Михаила Шумахера, плюс, как я уже говорил, победа Рубенса Баррикелло в Гран-при Германии.
Michael Schumacher is our contemporary, an outstanding German racing driver, the first 7-time Formula One champion. This achievement was later repeated only by the British Lewis Hamilton. Michael became the face of the royal races at a time when interest in them in Russia was at its peak. It is no coincidence that, in our country, drivers who, like the German pilot, are distinguished by an assertive, aggressive driving style were nicknamed, with a bit of irony, Schumachers. The definition turned out to be as accurate as it is tenacious, and is still in use, although more than a decade has passed since Michael hung up his racing helmet. Schumacher's career after Formula One was hampered by a severe injury sustained on a ski slope on December 29, 2013, less than a week before the athlete's 45th birthday. From that moment on, the story of Michael's struggle to return to normal life began, which continues today. Before the tragedy in the Alps, Michael had already tried his hand at acting. In 2006, the athlete voiced the Ferrari F430 in the famous animated film Cars by the American studio Pixar, and 2 years later, he played a cameo role as the charioteer Schumix in the French comedy Astérix at the Olympic Games. In 2009, Schumacher made a one-off appearance on the popular British TV show Top Gear as the ace racing driver Stig. Only Michael was trusted by Ferrari to drive the unique Ferrari FX Track sports car during the filming of the program. During his racing career, Schumacher, who was also actively involved in advertising projects, earned a solid fortune, which in 2010 was estimated at 515 million British pounds. In 1999 and 2000, Forbes magazine named Michael the highest-paid athlete in the world, and in 2017 included him in the top 5 most expensive athletes of all time. Michael Schumacher is also known for his philanthropic activities. As a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, the racer has donated millions of euros and dollars to victims of natural disasters and military conflicts, as well as the poorest regions of the planet. In addition, Michael has actively participated in public campaigns for road safety. The German Formula One king, born on January 3, 1969 in the town of Hrth near Cologne, was not a prince of the blood by birth. His father, Rolf, was a bricklayer. His mother, Elizabeth, was a housewife. There was no extra money in the family, where another younger son, Ralph, who would later also become a racing driver, was growing up. It is known that the sum of 800 marks for the purchase of a new kart for Michael turned out to be too much for the family, and if it were not for the financial assistance of a local businessman who saw the talent of a pilot in the teenager, the career of the future motorsport star could have been interrupted at the very start. One can only guess whether the world would have received the great judoka in return. Young Michael made significant progress in this type of Oriental martial arts. Michael's not-so-carefree childhood apparently affected his character, who on the racetrack was not shy about acting often on the edge of a foul and even beyond. Damon Hill, Mika Hakkinen, Jacques Villeneuve, whom Michael tried to knock off the track in the fight for the Formula One crown, in different years, and mostly successfully, can tell a lot about this. And according to his teammate, Jos Verstappen, Schumacher won his first title in 1994 in a car whose design had been modified in a way prohibited by the rules. And already being a 7-time world champion in 2006, having come out on top in the qualifying round of the Monaco Grand Prix, where pole position on the starting grid in the race is largely decisive, Michael deliberately stopped, blocking the narrow track so as not to allow any of it. his rivals to improve their time. All this does not change the fact that Schumacher was an outstanding racing driver. His unique driving technique was carefully studied based on telemetry data. It turned out that Michael would start braking later when approaching a bend, and then stabilize the car on the arc and exiting it masterfully, in rally style, simultaneously working the gas and brake pedals, which gave a noticeable gain in time. At the same time, feeling the increasing fatigue of the brakes, Schumacher could use a more gentle driving technique. And of course, it is no coincidence that the nicknames that the racing driver was awarded included such names as Regentkönig and Regenmeister, which translated from German means King of Rain or Lord of Rain. It was this type of precipitation that allowed Michael to pull out a lucky ticket in life. And it all started, as usual, in childhood. 4-year-old Michael's father made his first kart, installing a motorcycle motor on the pedal version. On this hybrid, the future champion received his first injury. He smashed his nose, crashing into a lamppost. After this incident, the Schumachers moved to the city of Kerpen, where the head of the family got a job as the manager of the recently opened karting track Kerpen-Horum, where Michael began to cut through in a car assembled by his father from restored parts. They managed to race to their heart's content in the rain when the karting track was empty. Michael successfully used the skills he acquired in early childhood in controlling a car on a slippery track throughout his entire racing career, starting with his first victory at the club level at the age of 6. At the age of 12, the teenager became the owner of a professional racing license. Luxembourg, since in Germany, according to the law, he would have to wait another 2 years. From 1984 onwards, a series of victories began in the German and European karting championships, and in 1988, Michael won his first competition in a single-seater racing car, the Formula K Nig. In 1990, he won the German Formula 3, and at the same time, the young pilot was invited by the Sauber Mercedes team to participate in the World Championship of Sports Prototypes. Michael took part in 3 races and climbed to the podium 3 times. And the following year, Schumacher had a lucky break. The driver's manager matched him with the Formula One team Jordan, which urgently needed a replacement driver. In pouring rain, in far from the fastest car in the peloton, the debutant qualified 7th on one of the most demanding tracks, the Belgian Spa-Francorchamps. And although a clutch failure at the start of the race spoiled the picture, Flavio Briatore, the boss of the Benetton Ford team, literally kidnapped Schumacher right from the cockpit of the Jordan car. It was under the banner of Benetton Ford that Michael would achieve his first victory in Formula One in 1992, and in 1994, and 1995. He would become the champion of the Royal Races, partly due to the end of the careers of the best racers of the previous generation and the death of the great Ayrton Senna, along the way receiving the nickname Sunny Boy for the bright yellow color of his overalls and radiant smile. In 1995, with a transfer to Ferrari, the color of Schumacher's racing special clothing will change to scarlet, and then the pilot will be awarded the honorary title of Red Baron by analogy with Manfred von Richthofen, the top German ace of the First World War, who won most of his 82 victories in air battles in fighters that were painted in bright red. Michael's track record during his time with the Scuderia is no less impressive. In 1999, despite missing 6 races due to a broken leg during the British Grand Prix, Schumacher, with 2 victories at the end of the season, brought Ferrari its first Constructors' Championship since 1983. In 2000, in a tough battle with Mika Hakkinen, McLaren Mercedes, having won a series of 4 victories in the final stages of the championship, Schumacher became a 3-time Formula One champion and broke a 21-year drought for Ferrari. With 9 wins in 2001 and 11 in 2002, Michael completely dominated the Formula One circuit. In 2002, there was not a single race in which the German driver did not finish on the podium, and the Red Baron secured his fifth championship title with 6 rounds to go, which was a new record. In 2003, Schumacher won his 6th championship title in a tense battle with Kimi Räikkönen, McLaren Mercedes, and Juan Pablo Montoya, Williams BMW, which was helped by problems with Michelin tires that were discovered during the season on the cars of his main rivals. In 2004, Michael left no chance for his competitors, winning 12 out of 13 races and only a collision with Juan Pablo Montoya's car during the Monaco Grand Prix prevented the German from achieving a 100% result. The triumph was followed by a sharp decline, one win in the season in 2005, when after changes in the technical regulations, Bridgestone, the supplier of Ferrari, was unable to prepare competitive tires. After a new revision of the technical regulations in 2006, the problem of tires for Ferrari was solved, but Schumacher was prevented from becoming an 8-time world champion by the Spaniard Fernando Alonso Renault, who was helped by the retirement due to technical problems of the German driver who had previously led during the climactic Japanese Grand Prix. In the same season, Michael achieved his last victory in Formula One, winning the Chinese Grand Prix. In the rain. It would have been a symbolic end to the pilot's great career, but it turned out to be an ellipsis. After 2 years as an advisor to the Ferrari team, Schumacher is said to have decided to return to racing for the Scuderia to replace the injured Felipe Massa in the 2009 season. However, due to a neck injury sustained in a motorcycle race shortly before, Michael, who had been testing a Formula One car, had to abandon the idea. The comeback came a year later when Schumacher signed a 3-year contract with the Mercedes team, but he was unable to enter the same river twice. In the 2010 season, Michael set a personal anti-record, finishing the championship in 9th place, and completely lost the intra-team competition to his young teammate Nico Rosberg. Schumacher spent the next 2 seasons very unevenly, becoming a victim of technical problems, then the team's tactical errors, then his own. In 2012, Michael finished on the podium for the last time, the European Grand Prix, and scored points in the race, the Brazilian Grand Prix, and on October 4 of that year, at a press conference before the Japanese stage of the championship, he announced his retirement from racing at the end of the season. But even today, the Red Baron holds Formula One records for the number of fastest laps, 77, and consecutive championship titles, 5, and in terms of the number of podiums, 155, pole positions, 68, and victories, 91. Michael Schumacher is second, behind Lewis Hamilton, who continues to compete in the royal races. Finally, the first 7-time Formula One champion left the world of motorsport, a design for a racing helmet made of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, developed jointly with the German company Schuberth Gym, providing an increased level of safety. Michael met his peer and future wife Corinna Betsch back in 1990 at a noisy party where the girl appeared accompanied by Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who had recently lost to Schumacher in the fight for the title of German Formula 3 champion. The amorous battlefield also ultimately remained with the Red Baron, and on August 1, 1995, Michael and Corinna got married. On February 20, 1997, the couple had a daughter, Gina Maria, and on March 22, 1999, a son, Mick. The children inherited their parents' passion for sports. Gina Maria, like her mother, took up horse riding professionally, and today she has several victories in European tournaments and the title of World Champion 2017 in reining, a cowboy dressage. Mick has been competing in karting since the age of 9, and in 2020, he became the Formula 2 champion, and a year later, as part of the Hayes team, he made his debut in the Royal Races, where he spent 2 seasons without much success. Today, Mick can often be seen during the Grand Prix in the Mercedes team pits. Michael Schumacher has always preferred not to highlight his family life, but it is known that since 2007, they have owned a 650 m2 villa on the shores of Lake Geneva near the Swiss town of Glan. In addition to a private beach, the estate had an underground garage and a gas station with a vintage Shell gas station, a longtime supplier of fuel for the Ferrari Scuderia. The Schumacher couple also owns a ranch in Switzerland and Texas, USA. Michael was partial to equestrian sports and was also fond of motorcycle racing, diving, and football. The Red Baron not only supported the Cologne club and was a fan of its stars, midfielder Pierre Lidbarski and his namesake, goalkeeper Harald Schumacher, but also played for the Swiss club FC Ichenchens and also participated in charity games and organized matches with the participation of Formula One pilots. The Schumacher family planned to celebrate the new year at the French resort of Mirabel in the Alps. On the morning of December 29, 2013, Michael went skiing with his son, went off the track, and, picking up speed, hit a stone hidden under freshly fallen snow, hitting his head on it. The protective helmet cracked, but saved the athlete's life. The rescue helicopter arrived at the scene within minutes, and at first Michael's condition did not cause any particular concern. It was even reported that the driver was conscious. However, during the transfer of the victim from the local hospital to the Grenoble clinic, the situation deteriorated sharply and Schumacher had to be put into an induced coma. 2 neurosurgical operations followed, and in September 2014, the pilot's wife announced that he was undergoing rehabilitation at home. The treatment turned out to be extremely expensive, as was the maintenance of numerous security guards hired to prevent paparazzi from entering the territory of the Schumacher's Swiss villa. As of December 2016, expenses amounted to 16 million euros. Corinna had to sell houses in Norway and Dubai, a private jet, and some of the collectible cars from the garage of the Red Baron. And in the spring of 2021, there were reports that the Schumacher family's Swiss mansion had also been sold for 59 million euros. This may be due to the fact that Michael was being prepared for a second, extremely expensive operation to transplant stem cells taken from the heart into the spinal cord. Michael Schumacher's net worth today. Following Michael's principle, what's personal is personal. The family gives little information about his condition. At the end of December 2023, the legendary racer's brother Ralf Schumacher told Bild in an interview that the family of the former Formula One pilot had done a lot to improve his health, but things are still not the same as they used to be. I miss my Michael. Life is often unfair. Michael was often lucky in life, but then this tragic accident happened. Thank God, we were able to do a lot thanks to the opportunities that modern medicine provides. But things are still not the same as they used to be, Ralph was quoted as saying by the Daily Express. Citing Bild. In September 2021, the documentary film Schumacher was released on the Netflix platform, in which the pilot's wife and son confirmed that he is unable to move independently and communicate with others. From other sources, it is known that Michael responds to speech with weak finger and eye movements. The prognosis of some famous doctors is disappointing, but hope dies last. If you liked the video, put a like and subscribe.